Welcome back for another deep dive. Keeping up with all the social media platforms these days, it can feel like a full-time job, right? They were diving into social media schedulers.
Mm.
Like, what if there's a way you can just set it and forget it?
Yeah. I mean, you absolutely can. That's what these tools are for. It's not just about being consistent, which is a huge part of it, obviously. But it really frees you up to focus on the important stuff, like strategy and creating awesome content.
Okay, so to help us navigate this world, we've got a whole bunch of articles and guides all about the most popular social media scheduling apps. Like what works, what doesn't, how to pick the right one, all that good stuff.
It's going to be your cheat sheet. We're going to find the perfect tool to streamline your social media and maybe even, boost your creativity a little bit.
Okay, so before we get into the specific apps, let's back up for a sec.
hmm
What does social media scheduler software even do? I mean, it sounds kind of obvious, but like maybe there's more to it than meets the eye.
Right. It's like, yeah, you schedule your post, but it's kind of revolutionary when you think about it. Instead of being glued to your phone, manually posting every single day. You can plan out your content in advance across all your platforms. And then, boom, it just goes out automatically.
Okay, you had me at not glued to my phone. But there are so many different apps out there. Where do we even begin to choose?
Well, think of it like finding the right pair of shoes, right? It all depends on what you need them for. Some are great for a quick run, others for a marathon.
Speaking of running, the first app we're going to look at is Buffer. It seems super popular, especially for beginners.
Yeah. Buffer is definitely known for its user-friendliness. It's clean, it's intuitive, even their free version's really powerful. And they have a Chrome extension so you can quickly share things you find online.
So it's like the easy button of social media scheduling.
Yeah.
But every app has its limitations, I'm assuming.
Oh, absolutely. Even the best shoes can give you blisters. With Buffer, you get basic analytics in the free plan, but it's not super in-depth. And you can't schedule YouTube videos, which is a deal breaker for some.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point if YouTube's a big part of your strategy.
Yeah.
What if you need something more, like, robust? I've heard Hootsuite is a real powerhouse in the scheduling world.
Hootsuite's been around forever, and they've pretty much thought of everything. Advanced analytics, tools for team collaboration, even ad management, all within the same platform.
That's pretty impressive, but I have a feeling all those features come with, like, a hefty price tag and maybe a steeper learning curve, too.
You're right on both counts. Hootsuite can be a bit of an investment, especially if you need all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
It can definitely feel a little overwhelming for someone just starting out.
Yeah, so it's like graduating from your comfy sneakers to, like, I don't know, high-tech hiking boots. You get more support and features, but it takes more effort to, like, master them.
Exactly. It's all about finding that, like, Goldilocks fit. Now, for something completely different, let's talk about Later.
Oh, I've heard good things about Later. It seems to be very visually focused, right?
Absolutely. Later started as an Instagram scheduling tool, so it's all about that beautiful, curated feed. Their drag and drop calendar makes planning your content visually so easy.
Perfect for those of us who, like, think in pictures, but if it's so focused on the visuals, does it work with other platforms as well?
It does, but it only supports 4 platforms right now, and it doesn't include LinkedIn or YouTube. And to get features like stories and reel scheduling, you gotta pay.
Okay, so it's great for getting started, great for visual content, but you might outgrow it if you need more platforms or advanced features. Now, this next one seems like a serious contender. Sprout Social. What's the deal with that?
Sprout Social is the ultimate all-in-one platform. This is for businesses and agencies that are serious about social media. We're talking powerful analytics, engagement tools, even social listening.
Whoa, wait, social listening. What does that even mean?
It means you can track what people are saying about your brand everywhere online, even if they don't tag you directly. It's like having a superpowered ear to the ground.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing this level of, like, sophistication doesn't come cheap.
You're catching on. Sprout Social is definitely one of the pricier options, and it has a steeper learning curve. It's probably overkill for individual users or like smaller businesses.
So it's like trading in your hiking boots for, like, a full-on spacesuit. Amazingly powerful, but maybe not necessary if you're just going for a casual stroll.
A perfect analogy. Now, let's say you're looking for something that combines content marketing, project management, and social media scheduling all in one. That's where CoSchedule comes in.
That sounds amazing, like a dream for teams juggling a ton of different projects. So how does that all work?
It's designed for collaboration. Imagine you can plan blog posts, marketing campaigns, social media content, all in one central hub. So everyone's on the same page, everything's connected.
But with that much power, there's got to be a catch, right?
Yay. Well, it can get pricey, especially if you want all the advanced features. And if you're a solopreneur or just starting out, it might be a bit overwhelming. It's really geared towards marketing teams.
So it's like having a whole mission control for your content. Incredibly powerful, but maybe not for, like, the casual user. Okay, one last app to tackle. Meet Edgar. That game sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah, Meet Edgar has kind of a unique focus, content recycling. It automatically reshares your evergreen content, those posts that are always relevant and get good engagement. It helps you get the most out of your best stuff.
Oh, that makes so much sense. Why reinvent the wheel every time?
Yeah.
But how does that work with analytics? Can you, like, track how those recycled posts are performing?
You can, but their analytics aren't as robust as some of the other platforms. And it is more expensive than some of the basic scheduling tools.
Okay, so it's a specialized tool with a very specific purpose. Before we get too lost in the weeds with individual apps, let's zoom out for a second.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's take a step back and talk about the big picture. What are the key things you should be thinking about when choosing a social media scheduler?
I mean, it can feel like information overload. Like, where do we even begin?
First, you really want to think about the platforms that you use most. Not every tool works with every platform, so make sure it aligns with, where your audience actually hangs out online.
That's a good point. Like, what's the point of having a super fancy oven if you only ever make toast?
Exactly. Next, think about the level of scheduling that you need. Do you just want something super basic? Or do you need, advanced features like bulk scheduling or a visual calendar?
Yeah, some people thrive on structure and planning. Others just, like, fly by the seat of their pants.
Yeah.
So it's all about, like, finding what works for you.
Right. And speaking of flying, how important is it to you to track your social media performance? Do you need detailed analytics to see what's working and what's not?
Yeah. Data is power. If you can see what's resonating with your audience, you can, like, really tailor your content to hit the mark.
Yeah, exactly. Then there's collaboration. Do you work with a team? If so, you'll need a tool that makes it easy to share drafts, get approvals, manage roles.
Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work, especially on social media.
Yeah.
Okay, last but certainly not least, let's talk about the elephant in the room, budget.
Yeah. There are some amazing free options out there, perfect for individuals or anyone just starting out. But if you need more advanced features, you'll probably have to pay.
So it becomes like a balancing act, right? Weighing the cost against the value you'll get.
Exactly. It's about finding the sweet spot that meets your needs and, helps you achieve your goals.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Buffer, Hootsuite, Later, Sprout Social, CoSchedule, Meet Edgar, like a whole buffet of options.
We've just scratched the surface, really. There's a whole ecosystem of tools out there, each with its own, strengths and specialties. It's like a bustling marketplace, just full of possibilities.
Okay, before we venture further into this exciting marketplace, let's make sure we have the right tools for the journey. We've talked about the key features, the platform, scheduling, analytics, collaboration, budget. But how do you actually use that information to make a decision?
It's all about getting clear on your priorities. Think about your social media goals. What are you actually trying to achieve? Are you focused on building brand awareness, driving traffic to your website, growing your audience?
Okay, so once you know what you want to accomplish, then you can start looking for a tool that, like, aligns with those goals.
Exactly. It's like planning a road trip, right? You wouldn't just, hop in the car and start driving without a destination in mind.
Well, I mean, some people do, but those are usually the most stressful road trips and probably end up with everyone, like, lost and arguing.
Exactly. Same goes for choosing a social media scheduler. Having a clear destination in mind, your social media goals will make the journey much smoother and more enjoyable.
Okay, so let's say you've done your research, you found the perfect tool, you're all set up, ready to go. Here's a question. Does using a scheduler change the way you create content?
That's a fascinating question, and I think the answer is like a resounding yes. When you're planning your content in advance, you're forced to think more strategically.
So you're kind of stepping back and looking at the big picture instead of just, like, reacting to the moment.
Exactly. You're considering your audience, your brand voice, your overall goals. And that shift in perspective can actually lead to better content, more engaging, more informative, more aligned with your vision.
Huh. That's almost counterintuitive. You'd think that, like, automating things would make them less creative. But it seems like it's the opposite.
Yeah, it's like the difference between, sketching on a napkin and creating a masterpiece on a canvas. You have more space to breathe, to think, to really let your creativity flow.
Ooh, I love that analogy. It's like the scheduler gives you permission to, like, slow down and be more intentional with your content, which probably makes it more authentic too, right?
Absolutely. When you're not rushing to create something like on the fly, you can really tap into what you want to say and how you want to say it.
And that authenticity is what, like, really connects with people. It's like you could just tell when someone's, phoning it in versus when they're really passionate and engaged.
It's like the difference between, a mass-produced greeting card and a handwritten letter.
So we're not just talking about efficiency here. We're talking about a whole sheep-in mindset.
Mhm.
Using a scheduler can actually make you a better content creator,
I truly believe that, yes. It helps you become more strategic, more creative, and ultimately more effective in connecting with your audience.
which is, after all, the whole point of social media.
Absolutely. It's about building relationships, sharing your message, engaging with your community, and a scheduler can be such a powerful tool to, help you achieve those goals.
Okay, I'm convinced. Social media schedulers are officially on my must-try list. But with so many options, it can still feel a little overwhelming.
I hear you. It's like standing in front of this giant wall of spices, trying to figure out, which ones to use.
Too many choices.
Exactly. But remember what we talked about. Focus on your needs, your goals, and your budget. And don't be afraid to experiment.
Yeah, most tools offer free trials, so you can, like, test drive them before you commit.
That's a great point. It's like, trying on different outfits to see what feels right.
Now, you mentioned earlier that using a scheduler can, like, change the way you approach content creation. But I'm wondering, does it go even deeper than that? Does it change your motivation for being on social media in the first place?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I think it forces you to ask yourself, why am I even doing this?
Am I just chasing, like, likes and comments?
Yeah.
Or am I trying to build something, like, meaningful, build connections and share something valuable?
Right. It's so easy to get caught up in the numbers game, especially when you're constantly bombarded with metrics and algorithms. But using a scheduler, it can free you from that constant pressure to perform.
Because you're not constantly checking for notifications and you're not obsessing over, like, engagement. You can just set it and forget it and focus on, the bigger picture.
Exactly. And that shift in focus can be so incredibly liberating. It allows you to approach social media from a place of authenticity and purpose rather than, anxiety and obligation.
So it's like instead of being a slave to the algorithm, you become the master of your own social media destiny.
Oh, I love that. It's about reclaiming your time and your energy
Yeah.
and your creative vision.
Okay, so are you saying that using a scheduler can actually make social media a more enjoyable experience?
Absolutely. It takes away the stress, the pressure, and it allows you to focus on the parts that you actually enjoy, like connecting with people, sharing your passions, building a community around your brand.
I never thought I'd hear someone say that social media can be, like, enjoyable. But I'm starting to see how that's possible with the right tools and the right mindset.
Yeah, it's all about finding that balance, embracing the efficiency and strategy that a scheduler provides while staying true to, your authentic voice and your genuine desire to connect.
It's like anything else in life, right? Moderation and intention are key.
Exactly. It's not about abandoning social media altogether. It's about using it in a way that feels good and aligns with your values.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of social media schedulers, I want to leave our listeners with this thought. As you experiment with these tools, pay attention to how they change not just how you create content, but why you create it.
That's such an important point. It's about using these tools to enhance your social media experience, not to replace the human connection that, lies at the heart of it all.
Beautifully said. So to our listeners, we encourage you to explore the world of social media schedulers. The sense of curiosity and intention. Find the tools that empower you to be your most creative, your most authentic, your most engaged self online.
And remember, social media is a journey, not a destination. Enjoy the ride.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, happy scheduling.